welcome to the Data Vault Friday. My name is Julian Brunner. I'm a BI consultant at Scalefree, and today I'm replacing Michael. So yeah, we run the session every Friday, 11 a.m. Central European Time. And in this session, we're going to answer questions about Data Vault, big data, basically any data-driven topics. Okay, so yeah, if you have any questions, you can submit those in advance or here directly in the chat. Yeah, so today's topic is about processing CDC data. We received one question regarding CDC and if there are any data vault standards or best practices how to model and process CDC data. So let me quickly show you an example. Yeah, so let's start about what basically CDC data is. So CDC is a mechanism that records information about the DML changes. So it delivers the column structure of the tracked object and includes additional metadata that describes each change event. So we have basically, this is the minimum, let's say, metadata what we need actually, but there's a lot more. So we have, for example, the metadata action, insert, update, delete, and when the action took place, or when the change took place, it's the metadata timestamp. And then we have the complete payload of the track table. In this case, I've created an example for the customer, which is Scalefree. And here we can see at 8 in the morning, there was a new customer, Scalefree, and it got updated. So the name got updated at 12 o'clock. And then in the afternoon, same day, it got deleted again. So that's a minimum, a really small example of how CDC could look like. Let's talk about the comparison to full batch loading. So in a full batch, if you load, for example, your data vault or data warehouse in full loads, you get full batches usually once per day or once per hour, for example. So normally on a regular schedule. And it's always a replica of the source data. So which means you always get the full data set, and it's only a snapshot of the source object at the time when the data is extracted. Therefore, no intraday changes are possible. So if we jump back to the example, if we get a full load in the night, let's say at 10 o'clock, 10 p.m., the batch wouldn't or does not have the customer Scalefree at all, because it's created in the morning and got deleted again. So the snapshot at 10 p.m. does not know those record. So it doesn't know that it was ever created. So that's a, let's say advantage, disadvantage regarding full batches. So compared to the full batch with CDC, you are able to receive the data in real time or near real time or in batches. In all cases, it will deliver only the changes, which means you receive smaller data sets in the end. And with CDC data, you're able to track also the intraday changes within your data vault. So every change here will be delivered to our data warehouse in the end. So the advantages of CDC is that you can reach a stream of change data. So it enables the possibility of real-time or near real-time architectures. Smaller volumes of incoming data has to be processed, so it reduces the daily peaks regarding the workload. For example, in the morning, if you load the data once a day, a near real-time architecture or micro batches with CDC loads the data continuously, and the workload is distributed over the day. As I said, it tracks the intraday changes, so daily batches does not support it. You only know the current data set in the end, or in beginning of your day, but you don't know which changes happened during the day. One big advantage is that the delta check during the loading process can be omitted. So the delta check is already performed in the source system, which speeds up the loading process, right? If you don't have to compare your current data to your most recent satellite entry, for example, you don't have to do a lookup, and that really speeds up your loading process. So you do your insert without the hashdiff comparison. And physical deletes in the sorts are transparently communicated, so which is really nice for tracking business keys and relations, for example. So let's see how we're gonna model this in Data Vault. So for hubs and links, there are no changes. It's still the same approach. For CDC, we have a modified satellite type, which is called CDC satellite. And there, the complete payload will be stored in this satellite. So with every CDC metadata, which could be, as we had in the previous example, the CDC flag, insert, update, delete, and the CDC timestamp, for example. And you perform your satellite loading without a delta check. So you assume that the delta check has been performed already in the source, which is per nature of the CDC approach. Then you can remove the hashdiff attribute from your satellite structure. And of course, you have to modify the loading pattern to load the satellite, because, as I said, you don't have to do a lookup to the target satellite anymore. And in some cases, if you receive CDC data in batches, you have to modify the load date timestamp, because imagine having multiple changes of one business key in one batch. You would have the same load date timestamp for all records, right? So the load date timestamp is set when the data hits the first layer of our data warehouse. And therefore, the load date timestamp is the same for every record for one business key. And which means the hash key and the load date timestamp won't be unique anymore. And therefore, we need to add a millisecond to every row of a business key to make one satellite entry unique again. So this is a change, or what you have to do if you receive your CDC data in batches. And last but not least, you can introduce a record tracking satellite, which houses the CDC flag per business key. So you simply ingest the whole change flag into this record tracking satellite. So with every change, with every deletion, every insert, you track your business keys in this satellite. And so there you can easily track if a business key was deleted in the source. And if you need, you can calculate an effectivity satellite on top of it. So that's basically how we model CDC data in Data Vault. All right, so we have, of course, the Data Dreamland this year again about basically cost-efficient data solutions in October on the 10th and 11th, directly here in Hanover. So if you're interested, visit our homepage, scalefree.com/ddl23. So if you have any questions, you can, as I said, submit them via the form in the Zoom registrations. And yeah, we have a couple of other webinars regularly, which is the DBT expert session and the WhereScape expert session. If you're interested, you can check out scalefree.to/webinars. And yeah, so I wish you a nice weekend and a nice rest of the day. Thanks for joining and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining today. If you'd like to discuss this further, give us a call on the number below here, and we're happy to discuss this with you. See you next time. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.